That you had a good day. Welcome, and this is Breaking Today. My name is Frederick Muitiriri, and my sign language interpreter tonight is Tracy Dorcas. But first, these are the highlights. Mike Sonko will have to answer for his allegations against PS Karanja Kibicho, declares the tough internal security PS as he records his statement with the DCI. 12 people admitted at Mandera Referral Hospital, 2 of them with severe life-threatening injuries after Somali faction exchanged fire at the Kenya-Somalia border. And KAKAMEGA County employs 61 new nurses to replace the striking nurses who allegedly defied calls against a strike by the county government. Now, welcome to the broadcast. You can talk to us via our SMS line. That is on 111 444 111. We are live on Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube at Switch TV Kenya. Now, we start off with security matters, where Interior Principal Secretary Karanja Kibicho has today recorded a statement at the Directorate of Criminal Investigations DCI headquarters of allegations that he was involved in planning chaos in 2017 to paint the opposition Orange Democratic Movement ODM in bad light. The allegations were made as sort of a self-confession by former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko during a rally in Dagoretti South constituency yesterday. According to the ousted Nairobi City boss himself, alongside PS Kibicho and person he termed as Deep State, organized for the touching of vehicles so as to taint the ODM's public image. However, the PS has refuted the allegations, threatening to take legal action against the former governor.
I am not in DCI as a PS Interior. I'm there as Kibicho, and Sonko shall give me answers if there is law in this country. Where we were with him, all the manner of things that he has made against me, he must prove one by one, because I'm a Kenyan who deserves to be treated right as well. Enough is enough, and Sonko will provide me answers. So he would better prepare some good lawyers on the criminality. Of course, he has admitted that he committed crime. He will have to deal with it. After he has dealt with the crimes he has publicly admitted to committing, he'll have to deal with my character assassination as well. And I'm going for libel this week.
And out of that story, I'm asking you tonight, should the former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko be arrested for his remarks? Should the former Governor of Nairobi, Mike Sonko, be arrested for his remarks? Talk to us on SMS, that is on 111 444 111, at Switch TV Kenya, that is on Twitter, at Fred Muitiriri. Now, moving on, 12 people have been admitted at the Mandera Referral Hospital, 2 of them with severe life-threatening injuries after Somali factions exchanged fire in Beled Hawa in the at the Kenya-Somali border. The injured include 9 Kenyans, among them 3 members of a family whose house was hit by a missile. However, Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiangi is dismissing claims of an ongoing rift between Kenya and Somalia, saying there are no threats from Somalia and that there are no security challenges apart from the Al-Shabaab. Matiangi further declaring KAPEDO a disturbed zone, further imposing a 6 to 6 dusk to dawn curfew in the area aimed at enhancing an ongoing security operations to address cases of insecurity that has claimed at least 10 lives. Daniel Karaoke is now reporting.
12 people have been admitted to the Mandera Referral Hospital. 2 of them have been severely wounded after Somali factions exchanged fire in Beled Hawa in the Kenya-Somali border. The wounded include 9 Kenyans, among them 3 members of a family whose house was hit by a missile. The incident, which started around 1 a.m. in the night, with Kenyans being caught in the crossfire and wounded by stray bullets, with the situation remains tense as county medical teams respond to the emergencies. Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiangi is, however, dismissing claims of an ongoing rift between Kenya and Somalia, saying there are no threats from Somalia and that there are not any security challenges apart from Al-Shabaab. Matiangi was speaking during a UK-Kenya security dialogue meeting, which discussed ways to enhance coordination and collaboration in tackling terror.
Together on a wide range of things relating to capacity building, information sharing, and collaboration in tackling some of the security challenges we face in this region.
In the meeting, Kenya is the standard bearer in this region for shared values that the United Kingdom and Kenya share, the rule of law, democracy, and security. And being that standard bearer, it's important that friends and allies support you in the task ahead. It's important that when we face the common threat of Al-Shabaab, that we work together to defeat that, both here in Kenya, but also in the United Kingdom and through the international community.
Meanwhile, Matiangi has declared KAPEDO a disturbed zone, further imposing a 6 to 6 dusk till dawn curfew in the area, aimed at announcing an ongoing security operation to address cases of insecurity that have since claimed the lives of 10 people.
And we must go in there and collect all the guns that are there. I am issuing a gazette notice shortly extending curfew hours in KAPEDO, and I'm going to designate it as a special operation area, and we'll maintain a curfew there between 6 and 6 in the evening, so that we can do all the work that we need to do there and complete it. We are not going to postpone that problem again.
Attacks in KAPEDO reignited after Senior General Service Unit officer was shot dead by suspected bandits in KAPEDO, Turkana County, during an ongoing operation to restore calm in the area. Daniel Kariuki for Switch TV.
Now, meanwhile, the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, that is KUPPET, has issued a 7-day ultimatum to the government to improve security in Baringo and West Pokot counties, failure to which it will ask all its members to flee the region. KUPPET National Chairman MILEMBA says there was no way teachers could continue working in a hostile environment where their lives were constantly under threat.
And we are giving the government just 7 days. If they don't do security work in KAPEDO, then we shall ask all our teachers to withdraw. And we shall ask the Teacher Service Commission, like we did with Northeastern, to withdraw all the teachers from Baringo, KAPEDO and environs, so that we don't lose teachers because of insecurity that should otherwise be provided by the government of Kenya.
In other matters, Murang'a Senator Irungu Kangata wants security agents to be fair and stop being misused when handling issues associated with politicians from the Mount Kenya region. The senator spoke at the time when he is being investigated by Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission EACC on City Hall corruption deals. Kangata says he has been threatened after he wrote a letter to the president complaining about the unpopularity of the Building Bridges Initiative BBI in the Central region.
When there was chaos in Murang'a Kiharo constituency where I come from, involving 2 members of parliament, they arrested 1 member of parliament on the basis of his political faction. So, when history will be written in this country, what made politics of Mount Kenya to drift away? I have no doubt criminal enforcement agencies will be blamed because they have embedded a view that they are not partial, they are not fair, they are not objective.
Now from Murang'a County to Kakamega, where 61 nurses have been hired by the county government of Kakamega to replace the striking nurses who the county has alleged defied calls against a strike by the county government through a court order. Speaking while giving them letters of employment at the Bukungu Stadium, Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya says another batch of 90 nurses will be hired at the end of March this year to strengthen the health sector in the county. Oparanya has told of the striking nurses who failed to return to work even after their grievances were heard.
They are doing so illegally, and those who have not come to work, they should count themselves sacked. And then those who are not paid, who never worked for the month of December and they were not paid, they should not expect to be paid.
Sad day for the nurses of this country. Now, Kegumo DCI's plea to detain Albert Lele Ntatui, former police officer, for 10 more days to allow a COVID test and mental checkup on him has been granted by Senior Resident Magistrate Agade Savai Eda of Kegumo LOCUSTS. Lele is accused of murdering Muthithi Kegumo Chief Inspector Henry Odongo in 2016 by shooting him 9 times after picking a quarrel with him. He has been on the run for the last 3 years in Tanzania and the last 1 year in Kenya, where he was nabbed in a rock over the weekend. Lele will stay behind bars for the next 10 days for investigations to be completed.
ambayo inaitwa Sentonoi Narok County. Kwa hiyo ofisa anaomba mahakama imkubalie wewe ukae gerezani muda wa siku 10 ili amalize uchunguzi kwenye hii kesi.
All right, now to rather sad story where Ephraim Macharia, stepfather to a 13-year-old girl whom he is accused of defiling and impregnating his daughter, has pleaded not guilty to both charges. The minor is now 6 months pregnant and under the care of Children's Department has been given a 200,000 bond and a surety of the similar amount to appear in court after 10 days.
Mnamo tarehe tofauti kati ya tarehe 27 mwezi wa 7 mwaka uliopita 2020 na tarehe 21 mwezi huu wa Januari, inasemekana ulishika sehemu ya uzazi ya huyu mtoto wa miaka 14, jina lake limebana kama VWK. Inasemekana ulifanya vile kutumia sehemu yako ya uzazi. Ni kweli au si kweli?
Some stories are just shocking. As a parent, that's just shocking. Now, a man in Butere constituency in Kakamega County is said to have allegedly grabbed the land belonging to an orphan family and demolished their 27-year-old properties, leaving them homeless for 1 month now. Cedric Oronje with the details.
December 17th will forever remain in the minds of these 4 orphaned family members after their uncle turned around events. According to Josephat Ngambo, it was a silent night and everything was okay until they had noises of a caterpillar that was demolishing their houses without giving them a warning or time to save what they could.
Walipokuja hawakuangalia kuona ya kwamba mimi napata wapi, na wakakuja wakasema ya kwamba mimi nipomolee tu manyumba alafu niendelee kubaki hapa. Na saa hii familia yangu yote inaendelea kuteseka. Watoto wangu wanateseka, mimi mwenyewe nateseka. Vitu zenye zilikuwa kwa nyumba walipomoa wakaenda nazo.
Si maneno ya kawaida kulingana na miaka yangu. Mimi nikizaliwa nikiwa mtoto mdogo katika hii familia. Nilizaliwa nikijua hapa ni kwetu. Baadaye kukua nikawa na miaka karibu 10 hivi, 12. Nikasikia babangu mdogo anasema boma yetu ndio shamba yake.
Wakakuja wakaanza kutubomolea nyumba, wakatuharibia vitu kwa nyumba. Sasa tunalala kwa baridi na watoto wadogo.
Their efforts to seek justice from relevant authorities have remained futile ever since. They accuse the area security agents of neglecting them.
Tunahitaji msaada wako kwa maana hata hii police station ya Butere haitusikii, tunateseka na kila mara tukienda huko tunafukuzwa kama umbwa. Tunahitaji msaada wako kwa maana hata hii police station ya Butere haitusikii, tunateseka na kila mara tukienda huko tunafukuzwa kama umbwa.
They're now calling upon the land ministry to intervene in the matter. Lincoln Ombogo, Switch TV News.
And of course, that is not Cedric, that is Lincoln. Now we are taking a short break, but before we do that, earlier on I asked you, should the former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko be arrested for his remarks? Should the former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko be arrested for his remarks? SMS us on 111 444 111 or tweet us at Switch TV Kenya at Fred Mutirida. Short break, we'll be back with more in a short while.
Nilifanya bro.
All right, earlier on I asked you, should Sonko be arrested for his confessions that he made yesterday? And he's continuing on with a thread on his Twitter page. Now, some of you are saying Shimo Latawa Prison also wants Sonko to complete his jail term. It's getting juicy, I tell you. Kevin Okwiri, what saddened me is he was always making the allegations, he was being cheered. Now you understand how the kind of leaders we end up with. Sir Isaac Cheruiyot was saying they won't arrest him. This guy has concrete evidence. Kevin is saying Sonko even knows who and who owns Jacaranda Sewerage. He has evidence. All right, some of the SMSs that are coming in, some of the tweets, some of the Facebook comments that we are finding. Moving on, farmers in Tumbiri, Kithima, in Mailinane and Mailinane areas of Mburi constituency, Meru County, are worried a lot following an invasion of desert locusts in their farms. According to farmers, a huge swarm of the destructive insects descended on their farms on Friday, and efforts by area residents to chase them away have proved futile as the insects fly up and within no time come down again to devour their crops. Nyakundi Kelvin with a story.
Anthony Majau, who grows wheat and maize on his farm in Tumburi area, says that the farmers had notified officials at the County Department of Agriculture of the locust invasion, but inaccessible roads made it impossible for the county officers to reach the area.
Hapa tukiongea kwa kikweli na kikamilifu, hapa watu wana chakula wangevuna, lakini hatutarajii chochote sababu hizi tayari zimekanyanga chini, kwingine zimekula sikamaliza.
Mimi naona makosa iko ndabana kuombana na hiyo. Mimi nao iya ngige ndio nasabisa samba yangu na kuisa kabisa.
They claim that spraying the locusts using vehicles will not work as the insects can fly higher, hence avoiding contact with the insecticides.
Zimetuangaisha sana ndio hii moja. Zingine ziko huko juu, zimepaa angani juu. Sasa tungeweza kusema serikali tusaidie ka MC wetu atuangalie ama MP wetu atuangalizie tunyunyiziwe hizi nzika kwa maana zimetuangamisha sana.
Nyasi ya ng'ombe hakuna. Chakula hakuna, imeisha. Kuna chakula. Imekula yote. Sasa tutafanya nini? Serikali kwa nitatufanya nini?
The farmers are now appealing to the national government through the Ministry of Agriculture to intervene by providing planes for aerial fumigation in order to help avert the looming massive destruction of crops. Nyakundi Kelvin, Switch TV.
All right, my director Lynette is telling me it's time for business, and for that reason, Lincoln is ready for that.
Thank you, Frederick Muituri. Before the pandemic, the occupancy levels at the city apartments were high until tenants were forced to move out in a cost-cutting move, dropping the leasing percentage to 30%. With the new year, the country expects recovery, but how long is the real estate industry going to take before it heals? Jean Kutunyi speaks to economist Abraham Muthogo, and this is his insight.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Kindly, we're looking at empty apartments.
Yes.
The occupancy level has gone down. Why do you think we have, what is the cause of the empty apartments in Kenya?
I think due to the negative effects of the pandemic, people have less income. So what you're seeing is people are shifting. People who are in the not all, but some who are in the high end are moving to the middle end houses. People in the middle end are moving to the low end. And some people in the low end are leaving town. So basically you're having a realignment. People are trying to work within the new income levels that they have. And those who don't have an income at all are leaving. So the result is that people who had leases prior to the COVID are either vacating them or moving to cheaper leases. So that is what is causing. And that's why you'll see the biggest glut of houses that have been vacated is in the high end.
Okay. Yeah. So can you estimate, can you kindly give us an estimation, a percentage of the leasing, how the leasing dropped? Okay, let me restructure. by estimation, at what percentage do you think the leasing dropped for the year 2020?
I think it would be different in per segment. I think it would be very high, probably, but when you talk about the high end, you'd be talking about anything between 20 and 50%. But as you go towards the middle and lower, it would be lower, maybe around 30%. So, but I think on average, it would range around 30, 40 on average. But again, these are figures that are yet to be fully compiled because we've not fully felt the impact, because we are still in the middle of it. So it could get worse, it could get better, nobody really knows. But from the look of things, every time we want to go up, then something comes up. But then again, remember, the economic effects is what is kicking in now. Because as we are trying to sort out the pathogenic side of the disease, we are now grappling with the negative effect of what it has, the negative impact on the economy.
How important is the real estate state currently in determining the state of the economy?
Actually, if you look at Kenya, let's say something in the real estate, cement production, for example, or cement sales, it has always performed at double the GDP level of the country. And what is very interesting is that even in this pandemic, the production or the consumption of cement actually went to levels that have never been seen before. And so to answer your question, the performance of the real estate is a very good dipstick of how well or how poorly an economy is doing. Because when the economy is booming, you'll see a lot of cranes around people, because people have money to buy, either to buy or to rent. But again, now the negative, like now, the situation we're in, where we're having empty stock. So you'll find over time, people who are not contracted are going to slow down.
Going into 2021, are we going to see a recovery?
Yes and no. Yes, because we are hoping that is going to happen. But then again, remember, most real estate is planned well in advance. So we were talking about those real estate projects that were planned in 2020. In 2020, most businesses were struggling for cash. So nobody was going for a long-term horizon. So we'll probably...
Meanwhile, business at the Mombasa port is returning to normal. The container terminals have been very busy, having increased markedly the cargo volumes handled for the month of December. A report by the Kenya Ports Authority's Corporate Affairs Department shows early indications of the growth in the transshipment segment. Compared to the month of November, transshipment traffic registered a rise, indicating a more promising outlook for the new year. Elsewhere, Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund says it will invest $40 billion annually in the domestic economy over the next 5 years as the kingdom battles high unemployment and a coronavirus-led slump.
$150 billion trials annually in the domestic economy, in addition to contributing through its subsidiaries to the national oil GDP with 1.2 million trials cumulatively. The Public Investment Fund is working on boosting local investments for each new year project to reach 1 trillion rials in the coming 5 years through 13 sectors, in addition to doubling the size of assets that exceed 4 trillion rials in 2025 to reach 7 trillion 500 billion rials in 2030. The Public Investment Fund, PIF, aims to create 1.8 million jobs directly and indirectly.
Well, from the business desk, it's a wrap. Back to you, Frederick Mutiriri.
All right, many thanks. Now, there's a story I wanted to tell you about earlier on. With barely 18 months to the much anticipated general elections, many have already declared their interest in taking part in the race to the State House. And thus, this story is not different for one Pigeon Odimwengu. Our reporter Sanza Munga brings us the story of a cobbler from Utawala who believes he'll be Kenya's 5th president.
I'm aspiring with this party to be a presidential candidate come 2022 and also to lead this country as a president.
Yes, a president at the age of 25.
The reason why I want to take the ball to be the president of this country at my younger age is because I believe that every problem in this country starts from the top.
Pigeon, like any other presidential aspirant, his leadership qualities started when he was a young man. He has for a while been in the forefront to gain his spot in the leadership scene. His leadership skills were harnessed at Embu University, where he was a student leader. To run for presidency in Kenya, one needs to have billions of money to run a successful campaign. Money he confesses he does not have and believes people of goodwill will help propel his dream of being the fifth head of state.
That's a challenge we are having, and I must say I'm having. But one thing I'm first of all assured is that the vote from these common people, from these young people, from these women we have, those votes are at standby. I'm not worried about that. What I'm worried is the finances on how to reach them. And that's why I'm appealing, and I'm still going out to people who can help us in any way possible. Because as much as I'm going for presidency, I'm creating a political party that can accommodate anybody who wanted to be MP, MCA, governor, anybody of the goodwill who want also to change and make a change in this country. I'm creating this platform for them.
Odemwengu believes in his dream and he plans to bring change to the society, something other leaders have failed to do.
So I want to be there to bring specifically health to our people. Public hospitals are lacking today. We are only moving to private hospitals, but do really common people can afford private hospitals? Public schools are lacking today. We must bring back public schools for those who might not be able to afford private schools. We need to have good infrastructures in the villages, leave alone in the cities, in the villages. Can we be able to have some projects for roads in the villages? Is it possible? We tarmac our roads in the villages. Can we be able to supply water to our people in the villages, like what Nairobi, maybe NMS is trying to do within the Nairobi? Those boreholes are needed in our villages. We need to have agriculture advance in our villages. We need to have industries, county-based industries. Like if you talk of Nyanza, maybe in Homa Bay, you talk of cotton industry. If you talk of Kisii, you talk of maybe avocado. And those are the industries we need for our people. That's the only way we are going to create jobs for our people. But we need also to have a government whereby those leading the government are really feeling the pinch of the common people, not those who only know what common people go through.
This is not the first time an unknown aspirant has come forth to declare their interest in the seat. In 2013, Mwalimu Abdu Badida, a former high school teacher, declared he would run for presidency only to garner 52,842 votes, which represented 0.43% of the total votes. In 2017, one Kenyan-American, Dr. Japheth Kaluyu and Michael Wainaina, declared their interest for the seat. However, they only managed to impress 8,261 voters and 6,007 voters, respectively.
That's why today you'll see the government is advancing either to mega projects like Expressway. I don't say it's bad, but how many people are going to benefit from that? The rich class. The common class is left here. Most of us are educated, we have degrees, we are promised jobs, but where is the jobs? They only keep on recycling old people in the system. So we want to create a government where a majority of those who will be in that government, 70% of them, must be those young people, women, and common people. They must be the CS, MPs, and whatever. We want to create that platform. It's not that saying that government now, well, they're not in the government. So all appointments to either CS, whatever positions must be common people. So that common people lead their fellow common people. But if the minority rich class lead the majority common people, we are not going to move anywhere.
Despite his low income, he is not ready to join any coalition.
The vice president is not a hustler. I'm a hustler. So I cannot be joining Hustler Nation while I'm a hustler myself. So it's about me leading my Hustler Nation. It's not about me joining the Hustler Nation. So one thing is that the deputy president, the prime minister, and every one of them are cause of this problem we are going through today. They are the leaders. We've given them opportunity to lead this country, but they have contributed to this. So we cannot be, or I cannot be claiming of change and at the same time go to those people who have oppressed us. It's impossible.
As we await for the 2022 general elections, for many aspirants like Pigeon, the vision is clear. Reporting for Switch TV, my name is Saza Munga.
All right, our friend there, he doesn't want to join any coalition, even the hustler movement. He's a hustler himself. Okay, time for sports. Mali took the lead of Group A with 7 points in the ongoing African Nation Championship taking place in Cameroon after overcoming Zimbabwe 1-0. The lone goal of the match came from Demba Diallo in the 11th minute to win Mali the second win of the tournament. In another group match, Burkina Faso held host Cameroon to a barren draw, leaving Cameroon second in the group with 5 points, while Burkinabe are third with 4. Zimbabwe. Now to the shocking news of the day. Chelsea have sacked Frank Lampard less than 24 hours after the club's FA Cup victory over Luton Town, with Thomas Tuchel primed to replace him. 42-year-old Lampard leaves with the club 9th in the Premier League after last weekend's defeat at Leicester City, having won once in their past 5 league matches. The former Chelsea midfielder guided them to 4th place in the FA Cup final in his first season in charge. Lampard was appointed on a 3-year contract when he replaced Mauricio Sarri at Stamford Bridge in July. Giannis Antetokounmpo scored 27 points, becoming the 6th player in franchise history to reach 11,000 points. Giannis led the Milwaukee Bucks to a 129-115 victory over the visiting Atlanta Hawks, which ended their 2-game losing streak. The Bucks have won their last 5 games against the Hawks and claim 11 of the last 12 meetings. Milwaukee begins a 3-game road trip on Wednesday against Toronto in Tampa, Florida, while Atlanta returns home on Tuesday to play Los Angeles Clippers.
Against the Lakers or the Nets recently. 10,980. So